Good morning, everyone. My name is Helena Nat. I'm the Executive Director with the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce. And what a webinar we are about to see and get involved with. This has been a really, really popular and the word I'm looking for, which we were just discussing with the Empire State Development, is how the interest of MWBE certification and the importance of it, but how many people RSVP'd for this webinar. And we were discussing, I think there was a huge pivot in the last 2 years for people to start their own business. And I think it shows that, New York City is back. And we are here, we're employing a lot of people, we're starting new businesses and new opportunities for everyone. So right now, I just wanted to say to Donington and Daniel, thank you so much for allowing the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce to, for our database of 30,000 different business and civic leaders, the opportunity to hear MWBE certification and how you can make it easy for everyone for the application process. So the way that it works is they're going to do the PowerPoint presentation. It's being recorded, so it will be on Chamber TV. And as long as you RSVP to chamber.nyc and I have your email, you will get a copy of the PowerPoint presentation afterwards. We are going to be looking at the chat. So put your questions in the chat. And they will, the last slide will have their contact information on where you can ask specific questions. They might not be able to get to every question. And I know that a lot of people are starting to put in personal questions about their own certification. So I don't know if they're going to be, they might be able to address it in a general Q&A, but if it's specific, take a look at the last slide. So I am going to turn it over to Daniel right now. Again, thank you so much for your time, for putting this on. Like I said, that we had such a huge interest in this, and we appreciate everything that that the Empire State Development does for job opportunities, for the economy, and for building back New York.
Okay, thank you so much, Helena, and good morning, everyone. Welcome to this session on the New York State MWBE certification process. My name is Daniel Zhou. I'm the Associate Business Development Analyst at the New York State Division of Minority and Women's Business Development, a division of the Empire State Development. In today's session, we will discuss the benefits of becoming New York State MWBE certified and talk about the division's next generation decentralized certification process. Then we will review various application types to get you started with the application. We will also discuss how to prepare a complete and accurate application package to satisfy Article 15A requirements. And we will learn some of the best practice to avoid any common pitfalls when submitting your application. And lastly, we will review resources and technical assistance providers that can assist with your application and other relevant business requests. At the end of this presentation, as Helena just said, we will leave our contact information so that at any point in your journey to becoming New York State MWBE certified and beyond, you can always reach out to us. Okay, the next slides will talk about our division. In 1988, Article 15A of the New York State Executive Law established our Division of Minority and Women's Business Development, to promote the employment and business opportunity on state contracts. for minorities and women. Our mission is to promote equality of economic opportunity for MWBEs and to eliminate the barriers to their participation in state contracts. To achieve this mission, the division focuses on three key objectives. We assist other state agencies in awarding contracts to MWBEs. And we also review applications by business seeking certification and maintain a directory of certified WBE firms. Also, we empower certified WBEs in business development by offering education and outreach opportunities. New York State is always leading the nation in MWBE certificate utilization. Last year, we achieved a 30.51%, and the division plays, as you know, an important role in continued increase in utilization each year. Next slide. Why do we certify? Before discussing the certification process, let's review why the certification process is so important and necessary. The New York State MWBE program was created as a result of New York State Executive Law Article 15A. This law established specific requirements for who is eligible to participate and what requirements it must meet. The certification process ensures that only the bona fide minority and woman-owned business may participate in this program. Therefore, the certification process deters fraud, abuse, and allows the division to track participation by state agencies in awarding contracts. Businesses who want to become certified must demonstrate their eligibility by submitting an application to our division. So what are some of the benefits of getting certified for MWBEs? Why should an MWBE want to become a certified firm? Okay, after becoming certified, your firm is listed in New York State Directory of Certified MWBEs. This is your business card and gives you firm visibility to all the state agencies. Your firm also gains access to tailored MWBE procurement and contract opportunities. Your firm will also gain access to statewide network of support and services for MWBE, such as invitation to business development workshops, technical assistance webinars, pre-bid and project events, and much more. These are indeed important resources which can help you differentiate your business from many other minority and woman-owned business and gain competitiveness. These are indeed important resources. Okay, so there are state and nationwide benefits as well, including the assessment of state agency utilization, regional economic growth, and best practice that supports the nationwide community of MWBEs and small business. Okay, let's first of all talk about the formal certification process. In the past, the division led a centralized, so-called centralized application review process, which ultimately caused delays in the longer wait time. One analyst would only work on one file until the file was completed. The analyst would oversee the full phases of the application, including intake, compliance review, industry or commodity codes assignments, and certification decision. Now our division has allowed a new decentralized certification process. When you apply, your application will go through the 4 phases in the division's application review process. Before beginning your application, it's very important to remember that you must meet the criteria outlined by Article 15A. That's why on our website, we put a self-assessment tool and also a short video for you to watch. Okay. That assessment tool is a simple questionnaire, basically, consisting of a set of questions designed to help you determine whether you meet the criteria or not. And also the short video, on the other hand, describes a case study that can help you decide whether if you meet Article 15A requirements or not. If you do not meet the Article 15A requirements, unfortunately, you can always reach out to our customer care team for further assistance. Again, we will provide the contact phone number and email address at the end of this presentation. But once you take that self-assessment, the next step is for you to submit your application for our division to review. So in the next section, we will talk about those required documents in detail. Okay. Decentralized certification process. Okay, as I mentioned, there will be 4 phases in total. Phase 1, the application intake phase. Okay, at this stage, we will take a look to make sure you submitted a complete set of the documents required. If the requirement is not complete, we will let you know. If you miss too much documents, say more than 3 mandatory documents, the application will be returned, then you have to submit a new application. Then application will be moved to phase 2, where our certification analyst will perform thorough analysis of your application along with all the supporting documents you submitted. And in phase 3, our compliance team will review your application again and makes a determination recommendation and assigns appropriate industry or commodity codes based on the copy of the contract you submitted, not just based on whatever you request. The last phase, phase 4, a notice of determination will be issued, and the applicant will be able to access the result by logging to their New York State contract system account. Okay, this is the copy of the screen, and if you want to submit your application, you need to go to the website address listed at the bottom of this slide to start your application. Next slide, we will talk about the application types. There are 4 types under the new application. MWBE application. If you are a minority group members, you are able to submit an MWBE application. application. If you are a woman, you are eligible to submit a WBE application. If you are both, you can submit the MWBE application. Okay. Also, we have an option of addendum, one-stop addendum option, which means when you submit your application to us, to New York State, you can also submit up to 3 application to our partners. You don't have to submit the entire application again. You just fill out a few extra pages, then your application will also be provided to our business partners for review later on. So this service is a one-time courtesy for applicants that have never previously applied, not currently under review for MWBE certification with any other partners or division. Okay, if you have an application from at least one of the 5 fast-track partners, you are eligible to submit a fast-track application to us as well. Okay, if you are if you are approved by our partners like New York City Small Business Services or New York and New Jersey Port Authority, you can submit a fast-track application to us, which will significantly save your time. Also, we also have a fast-track application type available to firms who are actively participating in the federal SBA Business Development Program, and the firm are already certified as a DBE, Disadvantaged Business Enterprises, by DBE Unified Certification Program. So if you are already certified by, say, MTA or Department of Transportation, you are able to submit a fast-track application to us, which also will save your time significantly. Okay. Next, let's talk about the details about the certification. Okay. We created this easy to understand, easy to remember chart to basically help you streamline the documents gathering process, because as you know, the division requires a lot of documents for us to review. But to make it easy for you to remember, we created this chart. Let's talk about A first. A stands for applicant. What kind of documents you have to provide to demonstrate? First of all, you have to show that the firm is at least 51% owned by minority or woman. Second, net worth. Your personal net worth cannot be more than 15 million. And also the applicant has to be a US citizen and a permanent resident. And as I mentioned, they have to be a minority, a woman, or both. So when you submit your application, we are seeking you also provide us certification affidavit, personal net statement, which will including attachment A and B if needed. If your personal net worth is more than $1.3 million, you will also be required to submit attachment B of your PNW statement. Okay, and you need to provide us proof of your US citizenship or permanent residency. We need to see a copy of your birth certificate, US passport, or green card. Also, we need to have the proof of your minority and gender status. Also, we need to receive your individual personal tax returns. But please make sure to provide us the complete set of your tax return, not just a few pages, not just a few schedule of form. We are looking for the complete set of your personal tax return. B, B stands for applicant business. In this piece, first of all, your business has to be authorized by New York State Department of State to do business in New York State. We have experienced that a lot of firms, out-of-state firms, they haven't received the authorization from New York State Department of State, but they submitted an MWBE certification to our division anyway. Then their application will be returned or sometimes maybe even denied. So I strongly encourage that all the out-of-state firms have to receive that documents from Department of State, New York State Department of State first. And also for out-of-state firms, if in their home state, if there is a similar MWBE certification program exists, they have to be certified by their home state first before they can submit an application to New York State. Okay. Also, those firms must, every firm must have business activities in New York State. Okay, especially for out-of-state firms. Sometimes they didn't have any contract received from New York State. They didn't hire anyone working in New York State. They didn't pay New York State business tax return. Then, unfortunately, their application will be returned. Also, all the firms must not publicly traded. Otherwise, they are not eligible for these programs. Also, all the firms must be considered as a small firm. Their employee cannot be more than 300. These are all the criteria we are looking for. So accordingly, we will look for a complete business tax return. Again, not just a single page, not just a few pages. We need to have the complete set, including all the schedules and forms. We also look for the payroll information, IRS form 941, W-2 forms, W-3 forms, and New York State 45 forms as well. Also, we look for narrative or stock ledger. Also, the certificate of incorporation, bylaws, meeting minutes, these are official corporation documents. Also, if you have a DBA name, we need to see the certificate of assumed name and filing receipt. Also, as I just mentioned, you need to provide us proof of your firm's significant business presence in New York State, such as copy of payrolls, a copy of the New York State tax returns, also a proof of a business is actively conducting business in New York City. So you can provide us a copy of the contract you signed recently. Or you the copy of contract you have completed in New York State. C stands for control. So the applicant must demonstrate control over their business, of course. Let's review this in detail. and you need to submit all those documents to show that you really control the business. First of all, we are looking for capital contribution documents, which means you are the person who invested in this firm when this firm was established. It's very important to remember that your contribution must be appropriate, must be matched with your ownership structure. For instance, if you are a 51% owner, so at least 51% of the original capital contribution should have come from you, not your 49% partners. So this is very important, and this is the things our certification analyst will be looking for carefully. Also, the applicant must demonstrate that they share in the risk and profits of the business in proportion to their ownership interest. Our division will look at the documentation for compensation received by the applicant. Risk assumes loans, leases, and reinvestment of ordinary business income back into the business. For instance, when our certification analyst review the tax return forms, they will pay extra attention your Schedule K1 form 1125-E. So those documents will show the structure of the risk and profits. So be very careful on those details. Okay, and the applicant must also demonstrate that they are the person who make business decision on day-to-day basis, and the firm is independently operate with respect to critical revenue generating operations. For instance, the analyst will take a look or copy of the professional license or permits, and also the resume from all the owners to make sure that the applicant do have the required knowledge and skills, competency to run the business by themselves. They cannot just rely on other person to run the business. Okay, they themselves need to be confident to run the business independently. So the firm cannot just rely on other firms to provide them business opportunities. For instance, the applicant cannot just receive contract from only one or two other firms. That will be considered as a huge issue. There will be put red flags. Then their application could even be denied. Okay. Next, we will talk about the application intake phase. After you complete your application and all the supporting documents, you submit your application. And but after our initial review, our certification analyst might think that, oh, they want to get more detail or get additional documents for review. So they might send you Q&A in the system, in the New York State contract system, for you to submit those additional documents. They might even call you and conduct an interview, most likely a phone interview, especially during this COVID situation, to ask you additional questions, and you are given extra opportunity to provide those information to move your application forward. Also, as I mentioned previously, if your application submitted unfortunately miss a lot of documents, your application might be returned. Okay, and if your application contains inconsistent information, your application might also be returned. But after you correct your error, you can resubmit the application for process. Next, let's talk about how to avoid some common mistakes. Okay, we listed a lot of common mistakes here. I think if you have already submitted your application and you might already communicated with your certification analyst, you might already receive some feedback or reminder from your assigned certification analyst regarding those common mistakes. So we listed all those mistakes in here. So for new applicants, please try not to make the same mistake again. It will significantly save your time. Okay, let's say a lot of people submit application, they just forgot to sign, or they just forgot to get the file notarized. Then that will cost you extra time later on. And anyway, you have to do this. You put your signature, you do notarization. You have to do this. So do it sooner than later, right? Also, make sure the documents you submitted is complete. I mentioned many times, text documents, you need to submit the complete set. Okay, you need to get the complete set from your CPA and submit it to the division. Also, for the contract, sometimes applicants only submit a copy of the page with the signature. It's not enough. Okay, I understand that the contract may be very, very big, or maybe 100 page or 50 page, but you need to submit the entire contract, not just the page with your signature. Okay, and you also need to provide the certification analyst a proof of payment. That means you need to submit a copy of the pay of the check, or a copy of the transaction records. Also, for the capitalization, you need to provide documents of source of the initial fund. And if you have other documents showing that you have other expertise, for instance, okay, when I established this firm, I didn't put any money, but I'm an engineer, for instance. I use my expertise as my original investment. So you need to submit as a valid copy of your PE license, professional engineer license. So besides visit our website, you can also get free technical assistance from PTech and SBC. I listed their website here. So later on, you can log on to their website and make an appointment with them to get help from them as well. They have a lot of resources, especially for a small business. I think you will receive a valuable assistance from them. Also, our agency, Empire State Department, has a division called the Small Business Division. Please make sure to reach out to them if you're, especially for those firms whose employees are under 100. So I think from our experience, most of the applicants had less 100 employees. So they are all eligible to reach out to other divisions of our agency to receive help. I already put the link here for you to visit and reach out our division of small business. Okay, next, I will talk about briefly about our unit. I already talked about the work from the certification unit, also a customer care unit. I want to talk about our business development unit. We have 4 team members currently, and we focus on different regions. And you can see here, my colleague Luan covers Western New York and Finger Lakes area. And myself, I cover Southern Tier and Mid-Hudson. Ryan, who is our veteran team member, covers Capital Region, North Country, Central New York, and Mount Hope Valley. My good friend Donnie covers New York City and Long Island. Okay, so we provide a lot of seminars and workshops and webinars like this webinar to MWBE forums to connect them with the different state agencies, to connect them with business opportunities, doing business with New York State. So if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out directly. We put our email address here. Based on the region of your business, you can just send email to us directly. Okay, last, I know a lot of people have already reached out to that email address. So our customer care unit handle all the questions you might have, especially the certification related questions. You can always send email to them or give them a call at their number. I also put our general email box here of our unit, business development unit. I put our general email box here as well. Please also make sure to follow us on social media. I put our Twitter account here, LinkedIn account here as well. And make sure to always visit our website to get all the new updates and for our following events and the new updates regarding the annual MWBE forums in August, in October. Okay. So so now we are open to any questions you might have, and just put your questions through the Q&A box and chat box, and we will try our best to answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Donnie, I know that you've been monitoring the chat. And also there's a couple of Q&As. So I don't, let me go through. Someone asked, does the 10 MB size limit apply to the size of each individual attachment or the total size of all attachments? That's a good question because they don't want to get the circular when they're uploading. Do you have that information? Should they be doing one at a time or uploading all?
I think that they should upload all the information at one time, if possible. If the size is not that big, they should upload at one time.
Okay. Someone, you know what? A couple of people ask if they're certified MWBE in New Jersey, does, what's the, that doesn't carry them into New York, correct?
If they are only certified by the state of New Jersey, they are not qualified for fast track. But if they are certified by Port Authority, it will count. Also, if they are certified by New York and New Jersey Minority Supplier Development Council, we will also accept their fast track application.
Someone asked, how can we get approved as an MWBE if we have never done work in New York State and just received our DOS number?
At this moment, I don't think that they are qualified for the program. They need to get some work in New York State first, or they can either purchase some products or service from New York State. They also count. Or they hire somebody who work in New York State. Then that employee will have to pay a New York State tax. Then that out-of-state firm will become eligible to apply for our program.
Rita Ewing, a great business leader with the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce, representing. Donnie, can you? Donnie, it's back on. Okay, great. From Massage Envy Spa. She has a good question. I'm a single owner of an LLC entity doing business as Massage Envy Spa, a franchise. Does my entity qualify for this certification? I've been told in the past that a franchise business does not meet the requirements. Good question.
As far as I know, as they just mentioned, franchise is not qualified. But I suggest they reach out to our customer care team and our certification unit will try to answer that question for but as far as I know, generally speaking, franchise is not qualified for this program.
Okay. How do you show proof of being a minority? Is it typically self-reported information?
For instance, you can provide us a copy of your certificate. The birth certificate will show, your minority status, and also you can provide us a copy of your passport. From the picture, usually we can make a determination if you are minority or not. But for some Native American applicants, we need to see the documents from their tribe, indicating that they are Native Americans.
A question, this is an interesting question. I'm wondering how a cooperatively owned business, 100% of who are, women owners. So it's just not one, it's multiple. We'd go about filling out the application.
That's fine, as long as the combination will be at least 51%. That should be fine. But as I mentioned, there are many criteria. Okay, those women, at least some of them, must have the competency to run the business. Right? There are many other criteria will be determined by a certification certification analyst.
Thank you. I'm just scrolling through. Someone recertification. What is the process really quickly? I know it's in depth, but how often do you have to get recertified and do you have to refill out all the information?
Every 5 years. Every 5 years, they can submit certification application, but 3 months prior to the expiration date, they can start to submit their certification application. As far as I know, the certification unit will require less documents to be submitted, but they do require the most recent documents, like the most recent tax return, business tax return, and personal tax return. And most recent license, if you are professional, most recent lease, most recent contract, something like that. Yeah. And if anything changed, if there's any major change, for instance, if the ownership structure has changed, they have to submit a new application, not just a re-certification application.
Got it. Someone was asking about information on grants. We just did a couple of webinars. Go to Chamber TV on that. A copy of the PowerPoint presentation will be emailed as long as you are RSVP'd through our website, and I have your email address. This is being recorded. Someone asked, can you give examples of how the certification for a small age? That's too specific. Okay, a lot of people, and I know that Donnie's been asking, you know, does customer care have updates on application status? What is the process when, you know, people have been asking about how long it takes and things like that?
Okay.
Donnie, you want to answer? Because I think you've been answering that, but a lot of people are still putting that in. So I guess Donnie has been putting a lot of, you know, his contact not his, but the contact information on application status, correct?
Yes. In fact, the application timeline, we can't really say how long it will take because we have a backlog now. What I can ensure all the attendees is that the division.
Donnie,
we have the.
Can you repeat that because you were frozen?
No, I said we can at this stage give how long the application will take, but I can assure all the attendees that the division is on a hiring spree of certification analysts to bring more team members to be able to review the backlog. We currently going through the backlog, and we have the support of the governor, and we received 11 million to bring in one that soon we won't be talking about that. We also, what Daniel just presented is the new system and the new certification review process. That's, we tested it and it significantly reduced the timeline it takes to review the application. So all these efforts from outside, people don't see how much we are chipping in the backlog, but very soon we won't be talking about length of time of certifications.
Okay. Donnie, I think I'm a backlog. Do you have? It's okay. What qualifications are needed to demonstrate competency to run the business? That's a good question.
For instance, you know, you need to have a pretty good educational background for certain business. I'm not talking about all the business. Okay, to run a professional firm, or consulting firm, or construction related firm, you need to have a pretty good educational background, and also years of experience, professional experience, right? We look for the resumes. We look for the certificates you receive, permits you received. For instance, a WBE certification is owned by a woman, but the woman, her educational background is, say, nursing. Okay, he received no educational. She has no educational background in construction related, and she has no license in construction. But on the other hand, her husband is a licensed professional engineer in civil engineering, and with a PhD degree in engineering. So that will bring us a big question mark. So as I mentioned, a resume, educational background, a professional working experience will be taken into consideration when we review the applicant's competency to run the business.
One person asked, application does not say we need 2 years of tax return. It only says current year. Is this true?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. We used to ask a 3 years tax return, but now to make it simple, we only ask for 1 year tax return, most recent taxation. But when certification analysts review your application, they might want to dig into your application. They are entitled to ask extra years tax returns.
Someone asked, how many contracts does a small business need to qualify? You mentioned 1 or 2. Is that a red flag?
Usually we ask, we hope to see 3, but if you only have 1 or 2, that's we will also consider other documents you provided. So we cannot say that 1 or 2, then we will deny you. We will consider other documents, other issues.
If you were once certified and did not renew, do you have to start the process all over?
If your application, if your certification has expired, it depends on how long it expires. If within 1 year, you can, we will allow you to, submit the recertification application. If it expires too long, unfortunately, you might have to submit a new application because a lot of information might have already changed.
Is there a minimum or a maximum amount of revenue to qualify or disqualify for certification?
I don't think we have a maximum, but in terms of the minimum, you need to have some revenue, ideally. Okay, I also understand that during the past several years, because of the COVID, a lot of business actually, lost money. So I don't think that we will focus on those minimum revenue amount. If you are qualified in terms of the meeting with other criteria, just to submit your application, we will review it also.
Someone to
Elena,
getting back. Oh, go ahead.
Also, your personal net worth statement should not be more than 15 million.
Okay. I think
Can
that's,
you hear me?
yeah.
Okay.
I'm just looking. Just you answered a lot of the questions on these, like statuses. I'm just going through. I'm single LLC. Okay. I think we went through most of these questions that we can answer. If you, like I said, if you have any further questions in the chat, Donnie put the email address and the telephone number for applications and information. And then also on this screen right here. So everyone take a screenshot, but you will get a copy of the PowerPoint presentation. This is being recorded. I just wanted to say to Daniel and Donnie, thank you so much. Very informative. Like I said, this is a really, really popular. And when I say popular, I think it's because, because of the pandemic, a lot of people, we mentioned this at the beginning, a lot of a lot of people became entrepreneurs, and that's a good thing. And we're really seeing the numbers come through this right now. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself, Greater New York Chamber of Commerce. If you want to grow your business, we have a lot of networking opportunities online, in person, and online and in person. We have our annual Business Expo, September 23rd, Hilton, New York. Free to walk around. We will have representatives from local, city, state, and federal agencies there. It's a huge business expo. Let me RSVP online. If you're interested in taking an exhibitor table, reach out to me. But getting back to Daniel and Donnie, very important information that was put on this webinar. This is how we get the opportunity to grow the economy, because people will stay in business and then you will hire people, and it just keeps everything, you know, in the domino effect. And it is very important that you are provided this information. So again, thank you so much for providing this webinar. Again, it will be on Chamber TV. I'm still getting pop-ups. It is being recorded right now, and you will get a copy of the presentation. I'm getting pop-ups on my email right now. Everyone said, I'm looking at my email since they're popping up, Daniel and Donnie. They said, thank you so much. Great presentation. Very much needed. Thank you. It's great to know that they have someone that they can reach out to, that it's just not an agency. That was one. So I'm reading my pop-up emails. So thank you so much again. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to Daniel, Donnie, or myself. Everyone have a great weekend. Enjoy this beautiful weather. Daniel or Donnie, do you have any closing remarks?
Yeah, thank you so much, Alina. Thank you for having us, and thank you everyone for participating. And if you have any, extra questions, feel free to contact us. We already put our direct email address there, besides also general email box and phone number. So just reach out to us, and we are looking forward to welcome you next time. Okay, you are encouraging to participate in our other events. We will put it online. So visit our website. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Donnie?
Thank you. Thank you, Elena. It's always a pleasure working with you. So we are very excited for the opportunity that you gave us. And we can't wait to continue working with you and talking with businesses. And again, then we can put our personal contact email addresses so that if they need anything, they can reach out to you, they can reach out to us, and they know how to contact Elena. So thank you very much, and it was a pleasure, and great job, Daniel. Thank you.
Thank you again. I can't say enough how important this information is getting out into the business community and making that connection. So again, I applaud you two for providing this opportunity and getting this information out. So thank you again. Bye, everyone.